The Albanese Labor government is reportedly looking at some electoral reform, but typically they're looking at all the wrong ideas. Firstly, they're pushing for 4-year terms in federal parliament, something that, surprise, surprise, most politicians seem to support once they get in there.
I support fixed 4-year terms, always have. Referendums are pretty hard to carry in this country, and opportunism kicks in. And unless you have bipartisan support, then it's not going to be supported. I have no intention of any referendums this term. We support it if people want to go out there and advocate and build support for it. That would be a sensible thing.
4-year terms, yes or no? Mr Dutton.
I support 4-year terms.
Prime Minister?
Yes, but they'll never support a referendum.
This is a bad idea. I'm sick of this argument that if we give governments longer in power, they'll make better long-term decisions. It's just not true. We know it's not true because it's been tried and tested. All of the states now have switched to 4-year terms over the past few decades, and the quality of state governments hasn't improved one iota. In fact, I'd argue they've gotten worse, and it's been frustrating for voters having to wait longer to boot them out. In the end, there's only one thing that keeps politicians on their toes. There's only one way to hold them to account, and that's through elections. If we lengthen the electoral cycle, if we give governments power for longer without facing voters, we're giving politicians more power and voters less. So we should all oppose this, and strongly. Former Prime Minister Tony Abbott has dismissed this push pretty succinctly.
I've always taken the view that if there's a bad government, an election can't come soon enough. And if it's a good government, it shouldn't be scared of an election. So I certainly would not be in favour of any change towards 4-year fixed terms.
Spot on. The other change Labor is looking at is increasing the size of the lower house from the existing 150 MPs. Again, this is a bad idea. We don't have a shortage of politicians. We've got too many of them. What we should be doing is changing the Constitution to get rid of the guaranteed 5 federal seats for Tasmania, so we get back to one vote, one value nationally. And we should be reducing the size of the Senate because the share of votes needed to get a Senate spot has become ridiculously small. That's why we get a Senate full of misfits. We need fewer politicians, better politicians, and more accountability, not more politicians and fewer elections.